welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our brand new stamp set, Simply Celebrate Critters, and its coordinating dies. We're also going to be introducing the Simply Celebrate Critters add-on, and this set has a bunch of cute phrases that fit perfectly in the speech bubbles from Simply Celebrate Critters. The other cool thing is that we have another stamp set that works really well with this set too, and it's called Dad Jokes, and we're going to be doing the intro for that just a little bit later today, so you'll have to check that out too. First up, we're going to take a look at Simply Celebrate Critters, and this set is so fun and it has all of these adorable rows of critters. So we have cats, dogs, mice, birds, and some super cute bunnies. Then we have a row of speech bubbles that perfectly fits above all these different critters and some really cute phrases that you can add to these speech bubbles. So we have happy birthday, let's celebrate, you are so awesome, hip hip hooray, I love that one, and then you are the best. Then for some extra phases for the speech bubble, we have the Simply Celebrate add-on, and we'll show you that in just a little bit. But first up, we're going to use Copic markers to add some color to these adorable images. And oh my goodness, are these critters so much fun to color in. What I really love with these guys is getting to color in all the cats and dogs, etc. in different ways. Some of my favorite ways to decide what colors to use for each of the different critters is to either look online, you can Google just cat and see all the cute different cats that are out there, or I like to think of different cats that have been in my life and I can color the critters to look like them. So I had this cat growing up named Meow Meow, who was a really dark gray cat. So that's what I did for that second cat there. And then for this cat, this was more a cat that I saw online that was super, super cute. So you can have a lot of fun with how you color in these different critters. Now, this is the latest in our Simply Celebrate series, and what this series is all about is that you get this awesome row of images that makes it really, really easy to create simple cards, and we're going to be showing you that once we're done coloring here at the beginning of the video. So you can create some really cute, easy, adorable, simple cards, or you can also go ahead and make more complicated scene cards, and we'll be showing you how to do both in this video. Now I'm going to move on to coloring the pups, and on this first pup we're going to do some spots, and that's a really fun way to get a different look with all of these cute little critters and actually make them really easy to color in too, because I was able to just do those spots and leave the rest of the dog white. Now we're going to work on this cute little Scotty Dog, and I'm going to do more of a gray. You'll see I like to blend out dark to medium and then out to light. And then now we'll work on this guy that's kind of like a bulldog. You know, they're all kind of just reminiscent of different dog breeds, but you can definitely color them in to make them look like your favorite pup. And so here I'm going to blend out, you'll see putting the darker area around the snout, because that kind of gives him a little bit of dimension, like there's a shadow from his snout. And I'm just blending those out, and then I'm just going to do a really light brown marker for his snout area. Now this next dog, I'm coloring her in like my dog Daphne. She's a black dog that's got a little bit of gray, and so she's so cute. She's my little girl there. Now for this next little pup, I'm going to go in with some more reddish browns. And I like coloring in all of these little dogs to look really different from each other, and I feel like it makes it look really dynamic and really bright on the card. Next up, we're going to be moving into the mice. And since I have my pink marker out, I'm going to go ahead and do the noses and the ears on all the different mice. Now, these mice could look really cute all in one shade of gray or in multiples. We're going to do multiples here, but what I'm going to do is use the warm grays on 3 of the mice and then use 2 different shades of brown just to kind of make them a little bit different. I'm also giving them a little rosy cheek because I think that just always looks really adorable on these cute mice. I really love this little row of mice. I feel like it looks like they're all having like a little conversation. It's just adorable. These images are so much fun to play with. The cards turn out so cute with them. Oh my gosh, wait till you guys see the design team cards at the end. They're just incredible. So here you'll see I've got the shades of E30s, and then we're going to do E40s. And you'll see by bringing in all those different shades, they just look so cute that way. I really love it. Now next up, I'm working on the birds, and for the birds I wanted to have them all be yellow birds. Now while I was coloring this, I ended up regretting bringing in that Y17. It was just a little bit too dark and it didn't really give the bright yellow birds that I was looking for. So at the end I'm going to color another row of birds and actually switch up my colors, so it's kind of fun to see the difference between the 2 of them. So there, I'll finish blending that guy out. And then I'm going to show you some fun tricks with the bunnies. So the bunnies, you could do a very, very simple coloring on them with just 1 pink marker. I went in the ears and the nose and the cheeks, and that's it. You could be done right there. Now we're going to step it up a little bit more and bring in a really light gray just to outline the inner edges of the bunny and just give it a little bit of a pop. And that's another step. Now here I'm going through and adding a little bit more shading. So I'm adding a nice light gray and just blending it out. And that's really easy as well. And then here I'm going to kind of play around and make him a little bit darker and blend that out. So I love that you can really play around. Then now I'm bringing in the E40. So you can see you could go from just using one pick marker and they'll look really cute, just one light gray that you go across all of them, or you can bring in different shades of brown and gray like I did there. Now for the speech bubble, I used a nice light blue marker and I just did a nice little outline all the way around, and I feel like it just makes the speech bubble pop a little bit. Now here you can see I'm doing something a little bit different with my birds. So I'm going to do some blues and do some different colors, yellows and greens. So it's really fun. The birds are a really cool opportunity to take out some really cute and adorable colors. And oh my goodness, how much do you love all these little critters? I have to say, this is my favorite set from the whole release. It's just so sweet. It just makes me smile. And next up, we're going to take a look at the Simply Celebrate Critters add-on. And this is full of phrases that fit in those speech bubbles. And they have a lot of cute puns. And here we have some cute cat puns with happy birthday and meow you doing. These are more general cat and dog, or really any of the cute furry critters. We have be my friend forever and you are possum, and also it's paw tea time. That one always makes me laugh to say it out loud. And then we also have I rough you so much. Then we have some cute puns for the mice. So we have a mice day and you are so mice, and also you're a Gouda one. For the birds, we have Happy Bird Day. We also have You're So Tweet. And then You Are So Fly, which that one makes me laugh too. We have Happy Birthday, perfect for the bunnies. Some bunny loves you, which is so sweet. And you are irresistible. Then we have some great just general sentiments that helps you turn these critters into a lot of different types of cards. We have Thank You So Much, Many Thanks, and So Grateful for You. We also have a Get Well Soon and a Sending Hugs. We have Thinking of You. And then we also have some cute little short phrases. We have love ya, miss you, and also good luck. And you can mix and match these with any of the cute puns above, which I just love. Next up, I wanted to give you a look at how these phrases fit in the speech bubble. So here you can see the original phrases that come with the Simply Celebrate Critters set, and those all fit perfect in there. And of course, you could shop your stash and find some great sentiments to fit inside these speech bubbles. But I love that we have these adorable little puns and also general phrases that just fit perfectly in the add-on set. So there you can see how they just kind of fit in. I'm just kind of layering that bubble behind, and you can see how cute the phrases look inside of those. Then, last but not least, we have our dad jokes that we're going to be introducing in a different video. There's these adorable, very funny, very silly dad jokes that fit perfectly in these speech bubbles, and the cards with this turn out so cute. Here are the coordinating dies for Simply Celebrate Critters, which you can bend apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. We're going to take those dies, line them up with these awesome rows of cute little critters, hold them in place with some low tack tape. We'll run it through the die cut machine, and we'll have some beautifully cut out images ready to put on a card. And then here are all of the images from the set. You get super cute rows of critters and then a row of speech bubbles that can go above them, and lots of cute phrases to put in them as well. Now, first up, we're going to be creating some more easy to create, easy to mass produce cards. So we're going to be creating 3 at once, and these turn out so cute. We're going to start off with the second largest die from the large stitch rectangles die set, and we're going to die cut some white cardstock, and we're going to be die cutting this 3 times because we're going to be doing some ink blending with the cloudy stencil. And I love this stencil so much because it packs such a big punch, but it's super easy to use. So we're going to be using it with some kiddie pool ink and a blender brush, and we're just going to be blending starting on the stencil and moving off to build up this really pretty sky. And these are really quick and easy to create and look really beautiful. And you'll see that we're using a really light hand and just keeping it really subtle in the background. Once we filled up about the top 3/4 of this panel, we're going to take out a second panel. We're going to do 3 of these and do the same thing. Now, one of the best ways to get a lot of variation on your clouds is to use the different sides of the cloudy stencil. So here you can see that we're kind of shifting it back and forth and trying to decide what's the right next cloud. You can turn it, kind of pick the next cloud, see what's going to look pretty, and then move your way down the whole panel. And so now we have 3 of these panels. And so we're creating a more simple card right now, and we're doing 3 at once because that helps you create a lot of cards at one time. Now we're using that same stitch rectangle that we cut the white cloudy panels with, and we're going to die cut some cilantro cardstock, and this is going to become our grassy ground. So to create the grass, we're going to be using the grassy border die, and we're going to cut this 3 times from all 3 of these pieces. So we'll run that through the die cut machine, and now we have 3 little pieces of grass. Then the next thing we're going to do is take what's left over, and we're going to use our paper trimmer to trim down the top part of this. And we're going to trim it to be about an inch or so high. And the nice thing about doing this is we're going to layer these 2 pieces together to create our ground for our critters. And that's going to help us have the stitched detail going all the way up the design. And you'll see what I mean when we start to layer these. So now we have 3 backgrounds, 3 grasses, and then 3 rectangular panels. And we're going to start to layer all of these together. So now we're going to take that rectangular piece and we're going to add some tape runner on the back and tape runner on the back of the grass. We're going to layer the rectangular piece at the bottom first of our cloudy panel, and then we're going to layer the grass over top. And that's going to give us this cool little detail that's going to end up becoming kind of like the ground for our critters. Then for some detail, we're just going to take some of those grass pieces and just kind of pop them up a little. And we're going to repeat the same thing on all of the other panels. And I love mass producing cards in this way where I'm working on like 3 to 5 at a time. It's not overwhelming, but it's so cool to get a bunch of cards done, but still get to do all those fun techniques that make me happy. So here we're just going to raise up some of those little grass pieces there just to give it a little bit of dimension, and then we'll repeat on the last panel. So we're going to add the rectangular piece, then we'll add the grass, and then we're going to lift up those little blades for some dimension. Now for the backgrounds, we're going to be using different colors of the brand new All the Dots paper, and we're using the 12 by 12, which have the bigger dots. And we're going to die cut that with the largest stitched rectangle, which is 5.5 by 4.25. And here we have the purple, pink, and the turquoise. I think it would be fun to make all 6 of these, and you could use all 6 colors from the All the Dots paper. Then here we have 3 standard card bases at 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to add some tape runner on the back of these pieces of pattern paper and layer them onto the card base. Now for this piece, you don't necessarily need to do a stitched rectangle. I just like the look of the double stitching. It just makes it look really nice, but I think this would look really great too if you just trimmed it down in the paper trimmer if you wanted to make even more cards in a shorter amount of time. So we're going to layer on all of these different panels with the dots. You can imagine that these would look really cute with the stripes as the background as well. Then next, for a little dimension, we are going to add some foam squares to the back of our cloudy grass panels, and then we can layer those on top of these really pretty All the Dot pattern paper card bases. And I just love seeing this cute little cloudy scene being added to the dot paper. The color just brings the whole thing to life. It just makes me smile. Next, we're going to take out the Simply Celebrate Critters set, and we're going to be using 3 of the critters from it. We're going to use the dogs, the cats, and the bunnies. Oh, the bunnies are so cute. Then, of course, we're also going to stamp and die cut 3 of the rows of speech bubbles because we're going to be layering those above the critters for each of the cards. Next, we'll put some tape runner behind the bunnies, and then we're going to add the bunnies right along that top row of the rectangle we tucked underneath, and then the little blades of grass that we popped up are going to be kind of right over their paws. And so we're going to do the same thing here with the dogs. Oh, it's so cute. And then do the same thing with the cute little cats. Next, it's time to stamp in the speech bubbles, and we're going to be using a mix of the Simply Celebrate Critters add-on with the original Simply Celebrate Critters sayings. So I love that you can mix and match them between the 2 different sets. And a really nice way to do this is to take them out and kind of layer them over your speech bubbles, see how they're going to fit, and see exactly what kind of theme you want to do. So for this one, we're going to go with a thank you theme. So we have thank you so much, you are the best, so grateful for you, I rough you so much to go along with the dogs, and then we're also going to stamp the you are possum. Then we can add some tape runner behind the speech bubbles and layer that right onto the card, and this card is done and it's so cute. Oh, it just makes me smile. So now we're going to work on our bunny sayings. So we have you are irresistible, thinking of you, some bunny loves you, sending hugs, and also you are the best. So this is a really cute thinking of you card that would just make someone smile. We'll add some tape runner to the back and then layer that above our bunnies. And last but not least, we're going to work on our cats, and this is going to be a birthday theme. So we have let's celebrate, hip hip hooray, it's paw tea time. Then we have sending hugs, and also happy birthday. Then we can add some tape runner to the back of our speech bubbles, and we're going to layer that onto the card. And now our 3rd card is done. And how cute are these? Oh, they're so fun. I love that it's this cute layout that you can easily repeat with all the different critters, with all these different phrases as well for different occasions. And these were so much fun to make. Next up, we're going to be incorporating these cute rows of critters into scenes in the next two cards, and we're going to start off with a Get Well Soon cat-themed card. We have the cute row of cats and, of course, the speech bubbles. We're going to take out some black licorice ink, and we're also going to take out the Simply Celebrate Critters add-on, and we're going to be using a bunch of phrases in this, some of the cute cat puns, and then some of the thinking of you, get well soon type phrases. And today we are recreating an adorable card by Maureen, so thank you so much, Maureen. So we have Meow You Doin, which is really cute for a lot of different occasions. In this case, we're using it as a how are you doing, get well kind of idea. We have our get well soon. We also stamped out love ya, sending hugs, and thinking of you. Next, we're going to create a window for these cats to hang out in, and we're going to be using a stitched rectangle frame to do that. And we're going to be using not the smallest, but the second smallest there. We're going to die cut that from some white cardstock, and this is going to become our window. We're also going to take out some spiffy speckles paper, and that's going to become the background to this window. So here we're going to add the row of cats. We're going to take some tape runner, and we're going to add it to the bottom of this. Now, I didn't want such a tall window for my card because you're going to see there's going to be a lot of things on this card. So the cool thing is we can fake a skinnier window. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to take the speech bubbles and just kind of lay them over top. And I'm going to take my scissors and trim just underneath the speech bubbles. And no one's ever going to see this, so it can be messy. We're just going to trim that top off. And then we can add some tape runner to the very top ends there, and we're going to layer the speech bubbles over that. That's going to give the illusion of a not quite as tall window that they are peeking into, but you can't tell that the other part of the rectangle doesn't go across because the speech bubbles cover it up. Now, the spiffy speckles is going to be the sky because these cats are looking into the house from the outside. So this is our outside. So I'm just taking my scissors and just trimming a piece that's going to go behind this whole thing. And I'm going to take some foam squares and layer it behind so that it's popped up so that it really feels like this kind of three-dimensional window feel. So we'll peel off the liner paper of all those little foam squares, and then I'm just going to layer that right on top. And I love the dimension that it gives. It really does look like the cats are peering in from the window. I think this would be really cute with the dogs as well. For our card base, we're going to be using some of the Flower Market paper, and it has this really pretty pink diagonal stripe, and we're going to die cut that with the largest of the stitched rectangles, which will be 5.5 by 4.25. Then we're going to be creating a custom sentiment, and we're going to be using an oldie buddy goodie, which is Smitty's ABCs. Now, the cool thing about all of our ABC sets, which are all of our alphabet stamp sets, is all of the letters have the same height rectangular bases. And what's awesome about that is that means you can really easily line up these letters to create a perfectly spaced out word every time. You can just take those rectangles onto your block or onto your Misty and butt them right up against each other, and that's going to give you a perfectly spaced out word. Here I'm using my block, and I'm using that little line that's etched into it to give me a nice straight line to follow, and all I need to do is line up the very bottom of that rectangle along the bottom and then butt them up right next to each other, and that's going to give me a perfect phrasing. So we're going to go ahead and stamp this out in some black licorice ink. I always like to test these out first just to make sure I spelled everything right since they're clear and you're lining them up on the block, and then I'm going to stamp that right onto the pattern paper. Now for the second part of the sentiment, which is going to be the pun part, we're going to use Henry's ABCs to spell out the word feline, because we're going to say, hope you're feline better soon. So I'm putting the dies there just as a little guideline for my stamping, and now I'm going to spell out better soon using the Smitty's ABCs. Once again, I'm using the line on my block as my guide for the bottom, and then I'm just butting up each one of those together. And it's super quick and easy to spell things out this way. It's really fun for custom phrases, and it's also really fun for personalizing things with people's name. So once again, I'm just stamping it out to make sure that it looks okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp that onto my card. Now next up, we're going to actually go ahead and die cut the word feline, and we're going to die cut that from some of this awesome textured cardstock, and we're also going to be die cutting it from some white cardstock, and we're going to layer these together. It's going to give it a little bit of a pop, and it really helps the words stand out and not blend out into the background. There's something about that little shadow that's just perfect. So we'll add some liquid glue on the back to each letter, and then we're going to layer it onto the white and shift it off to the right just a little bit. And you can see already that it just gives the letters just a little extra special look. And we can adhere them onto the card. And I always like to take letters and layer them onto my card base first. So I'm just going to lay them on there. I'm going to make sure that my first and last letter are spaced evenly from the sides, and that'll help me space everything out in the center. So I'll add some liquid glue onto my first letter and then add liquid glue onto my last letter. And then now I can space everything else in between. And this always helps me make them just have them spaced out and look really nice. So we'll add liquid glue to the back of each one. And now our cute custom sentiment is all done. And now you'll see what it's going to look like with that cute little cat window right underneath it. Next, we have to build our indoor scene. So we've got some woodgrain cardstock that's going to be the ground, and we're going to shop our stash and look for a lot of cute elements. So here we have the Virtual Friends add-on that has this cute little desk plant. We have Meow You Doing, which has the cat bed and cat and some cute little cat toys. And then we're also going to take a look at Den Sweet Den, which has that fun little lamp and cool little indoor things. Our new Just Add Glitter set has these cute little envelopes. So lots of fun little things than just kind of looking for cute cat related stuff. Then I'm going to go ahead and trim down a piece that's about an inch tall, and then another little piece that's about 1/8 of an inch wide that's going to become our kind of decorative, baseboard detail. So we're going to add this piece to the bottom and then this skinny piece to the top. And you'll see it just makes it look a little bit more like a cool little floor. And then we can start building the scene. So the idea is we have all these cute little cats that are looking in on this other cat that's feline better soon, right? So we're going to have all the things, all the little presents the cat got. So a cute little house plant, some yarn, some cat toys, and of course a bunch of cards. So this little scene was super fun to build out. I just thought this was so clever how Maureen created this scene. And I also loved her window idea because you could use it with the bunnies, with the dogs, with the mice, even with the birds would be so cute hanging out on a windowsill, right? And then you could change your scene at the bottom or even maybe just use the window, which would look really cute on a card too. That we've built out the sentiment above and the scene below, I'm going to add some tape runner to the back of the window, and I can just perfectly center that in between the two of those. I wanted to make sure I had enough room for everything before I layered that cute little window inside. And the last step is to take a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4 1/4. We'll add some tape runner to the card base, and then we can layer the whole card panel up top. And I just love this design by Maureen so much. It is so cute and so sweet. And I love how she incorporated the critters and speech bubbles into a scene. Her window idea is also so cute, and all of the critters from this set would look so cute in the window. The birds would be absolutely adorable. Now, next up, Shari is going to be showing us how to create another scene using the cute little dogs. Also, if you want to see another fun scene with the Simply Celebrate critters, make sure to check out our intro to Tiny Sports Friends and Stadium Seating. There's a really cool idea in there too. So take it away, Shari.
So for my card today, I'm using the dogs from Simply Celebrate Critters along with the little speech bubbles. I've already colored my little dogs. Of course, that little one there is my new baby Scout, and I'm going to stamp out all the sentiments that are in this set, but I'm stamping each of them in a different color. So I'm starting out with some guava for this first one that says, "Let's celebrate." I'll be using Juice Box for the next one that says, "Hip Hip Hooray." Then jalapeno. This one says, "You are so awesome." Peacock ink for the happy birthday. And then finally, fake tan for "You are the best." And then I'll use the coordinating dies to cut out these cute little dogs and their speech bubbles. I've got a piece of teal spiffy speckles paper that's going to kind of be my background sky, but I'm going to make a brick wall for these little dogs to sit on top of. So I have a piece of fog cardstock, and I'm just going to line up the brick stencil onto that piece of cardstock, and I'll be doing some inking through this stencil. So I'll just use my magnets to hold it in place, and then I'm going to go in with Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink and fill in all these bricks. Now I am kind of being haphazard with this, and I'm making it a little darker in places and lighter in other places just to actually make it look less perfect, because it is bricks and they're not really perfect. Each one is different. So you can see I'm just putting it through the stencil, kind of twisting and turning the foam till I get everything covered. And I'm not worried about it being nice and even because I am actually going to spray some water on this and do some flicking of paint and make it a little more distressed looking. So since this is oxide ink, I can flick it with water and get some oxidation reaction. So I'm just going to spray it with some water and you can see how it reacts. And then I'm going to use my heat tool and dry it quickly so that it doesn't run too much. It's just running a little bit. And then once that's dry, I'm actually just inking up the edges a little bit with that same hickory smoke distress oxide to just kind of soften the edges a bit. You can see it sort of knocks down that lighter fog that's underneath. And then finally, I like to add even more texture, so I've got some white watercolor paint, and I'm adding some splatters of white. And then I will also add some splatters of black. I always think that this adds a little more texture and dimension to a background like this by adding the lighter splatter as well as the darker. Now I have a piece of storm cloud cardstock, so this is a dark gray, and I'm just cutting a strip. This is going to be the top of my wall, so like a cap on the wall, and that's where my little dogs are going to sit. So it's going to go right across the top. So I'm going to start to assemble my card by putting some adhesive on the back of that spiffy speckles paper and putting it on a card base. Then I can add my brick that I stenciled along the bottom and this cap. And I'm actually going to pop those up with some foam tape when I put it on the card, but before I do that, I actually want to go ahead and put my sentiment because I'm going to stamp on this and also add some die cut. So I want to do that before I pop it up onto the card base. I'm using Henry's ABCs to cut out the main part of my sentiment that says Yappy. I've cut that from 5 different colors of cardstock. I have guava, fake tan, sunflower, peacock, and sugar plum. And then I'm using some stamps from the Happy 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 stamp set, and I'm finishing off my sentiment. So it is going to say, wishing you a yappy birthday. So I'm just lining up those sentiments where I want to stamp them. I'll move my die cut pieces because they're not glued down. They were just a placeholder. And then I'll stamp the first part and the last part of my sentiment in some black ink directly onto my brick wall. Now I can use my liquid glue and add the die cut letters. And I always like to start in the middle and work my way out to the edges. That way I know that my word is always centered. And luckily with this brick stencil, you almost have a built-in grid to make sure everything is straight as well. So now that my sentiment's complete, I have put some foam tape all over the back of this brick wall piece, and I'm just going to line that up along the bottom of my card. I'm also going to do the same for that dark gray piece that's the top. I've added some foam squares and I'm just overlapping it a little bit on top so it will cover up the edge of that brick wall, and then I'll just trim off the excess. And then I can put some foam squares on the back of all my dogs' heads. So these will be popped up as well. I kind of like the look of this because it looks like the brick wall with the little dogs popping their heads up are in the foreground and the sky is in the background. And then finally I can add the little speech bubbles with all the sayings from the dogs right above their heads. And I'm just adding that with some foam squares as well. And then to finish it off, I'm adding some glitter to the die cut letters. And then I'm also going to add a line of glitter along the top of the wall here, just to define that edge a little bit more and give some glitz and glam to the card. And then here is my finished card with those super cute little dogs and that really fun sentiment. I really love that stenciled brick wall.
This is such a cute card, Shari. I love that brick wall too. It's so cool and such a fun way to use the dogs. And next up, we have some super cute cards by the design team. And this Gouda themed card by Megan is just so cute and sweet. And it has a fun surprise because you can pull out the top and that's where you can write your message, which is so sweet with the I miss your hugs. This Father's Day card by Audrey is so cute and sweet. And I love those stripes in the background and the little heart she added into the speech bubbles. Here, Callie used our awesome dad joke stamp set with both the mice and the bunnies, and I love this card so much and those cute jokes. This birthday card by Maureen is so sweet, and I love how she created a fence for the dogs. I can't wait to try that myself. And then this is the card by Maureen that inspired us to make the card today. Oh, it's so cute and would definitely make someone's day. This card by Yanea is so sweet, and I love that she has the bunnies hanging out on a banner. It's a really fun way to use them. And then here, Grace created the cutest dad card. I love how she made a fence too and incorporated another little puppy at the bottom. Here's the card by Tammy that is so cute and fun, and she added our awesome cats and mice to the stadium seating, and they are a perfect match for that and such a fun way to use this set. Elise was so clever and she used our Critter Chatter stamp set to fill in some of the speech bubbles. That's such a fun idea and I can't wait to try it myself. Here, Kara used the adorable little birds along with the dad joke stamp set to create a really funny card. And then here, Elena got inspired to make a Father's Day card as well, and I just love the dogs telling some funny jokes. And then last but not least, we have this super cute card by Letitia. I love the sequins that she added and the fun wood grain in the background. So we cannot wait to see what you guys do with Simply Celebrate Critters in the add-on, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!